Everyone, just wanted to make another video with lots of other confirmations um, that I've gotten. The first one is dealing with the Gemini decan constellations. Yesterday I was so excited when I saw Rhonda Empson's latest video of a dog riding a horse. So I'll just playing small clips to get the point across, but I'll put the links to everything.
Where I was, and before I could even get to the driveway, he had sent down this horse and carriage. Now, it was like a chariot. Again, the seat was hooked to the side of this horse, and there was a big silver platter sitting by the chair, like an armrest. Now, the one driving this horse was I know it may sound silly, but it was an animal. It was a dog. There was a dog on the back of this horse that was steering, that was controlling the horse. So they came down, parked right in front of me, and I smiled because it was like, wow, that's so nice. He did this for me. I sat in the seat. We started to take off.
Okay, so the reason why that makes me really excited of the dog riding a horse is because of this. What does this look like? A horse and a dog riding a horse. And this is actually the Canis Minor is the second dog of the constellation Gemini. It's the very last decan. And that was the chariot that was provided to her for the rapture in her rapture dream. So I've been on high alert ever since, since Sirius, because that was the first dog, and I had a dream about a whale dog, and it was kind of dangerous at that point to pet the dog, but I wasn't sure which dog it was. And when I saw Rhonda's dream about her chariot was a horse with a dog riding it, I've been looking at Stellarium for a while now. I was like so excited because, I think our chariot is about to arrive. So that was very cool. This is the sun on the ecliptic as it is today, July 12th. But I think the major star here is Procyon of Canis Minor, the smaller dog. And so technically, we don't really align with that one until maybe a few days from now. And that constellation doesn't end until, this is where the sun kind of starts getting into Cancer on, 7 July 22nd, 23rd. So, there's, the next couple of days, about the next week or so, I think, are high alert for this Canis Minor alignment. And another thing, I wasn't going to share this because it just sounds really silly, but for the longest time, I started thinking about my dog as a horse. So first, I've always called my dog, since I got her, Mono, which means monkey in Spanish. I just think it's funny. I call her Mono all the time. And then my husband, was playing with her, and he was saying that she was a rapture dog. So there's my husband, and here's my poor dog, being lifted. That's what we do for fun here. We play rapture dog. And so it was really funny that, he was calling her, oh, she's getting raptured, she's getting raptured. And that was like a really silly thing we used to do. And so whenever I take her for a walk and then I have to go into a store, I have to kind of park her outside. So it made me think about horses, and oh, that must have been the way people were back in the days, they had to park their horses outside. So I kind of got it into my head that she was like comparing her to a little horse. And so when we started playing Rapture Dog, I said, well, if she gets raptured and, what's her what's her new glorified body going to be? So I said, oh, it's going to be a unicorn. And, because that's like, a really cool version of a horse. And so I thought that was really funny. And then I talked to my sister on the phone and I was telling her how he was being all silly and how, our dog was going to become a unicorn after the rapture. And my sister said, oh, that's so weird. My daughter, just a few days ago kept saying we should get a cat so that she could dress it up like a unicorn. You guys are both crazy. So I thought that was really funny. Didn't really think anything of it until, I see that, you know, there's actually a constellation with a unicorn. And, when I downloaded Stellarium was later after I've been thinking all that. And the name of the constellation is Monoceros, which just means it's not monkey, but it's a mono uh, the horn of the unicorn. So that was really funny. Just had to share that. And another thing that's really interesting was that in that unicorn constellation, there's actually the horn of the unicorn includes the Christmas tree cluster. Okay, and it was named for its triangular shape. So it looks like a cone. And what else do we know about this? It was discovered by William Herschel. And actually, it was like the day after Christmas or something. That's what I got from another place. That might be why it's called the Christmas tree cluster. But it's pretty cool that it's just in the constellation because on 6/25, June 25th of this year, I had a dream of a triangle. It was just, that's all it was. I just saw a triangle. So I'm starting to look at constellations and triangles, and there's several of them, so I wasn't sure which one. So maybe it's pointing me to the cone. And also, I actually just got, when I was making this, preparing material for this video, somebody commented on something about Christmas in their dream. And he's not the only person. There's several others. So let me see. Oh, here. Had the weirdest dream last night. It's funny that as I'm preparing this, somebody just posted this. I've been praying about wanting to see heaven, and I got a dream where I could see a town being decorated for Christmas. And I was talking to someone and said the word Gemini. Okay? But the biggest thing was Gemini. So I was like, wow, that's cool. Christmas, Gemini, that tells me Christmas tree cluster. Okay. So here's another Christmas. I think Rhonda's gotten several dreams where, the rapture and destruction kind of come around the time of Christmas.
We were going, and we were going to go and watch this thing unfold, but we weren't allowed. We were taken home because you guys know how many of these past dreams have I had where I've been told Christmas is the next day. My grandmother told me this twice in a dream. I mean, I was just dreaming so much of Christmas being the next day. And in this dream, while this war or this breakout, whatever's going to happen in Korea happens, it was Christmas Day. So to me, that represents that we're going home. That's why we weren't allowed to watch the show. In the bridge, we transitioned. It represented Christ. We went home. Okay, so we couldn't watch the movie. We couldn't stay and watch things being played out because we were taken out of here. And the 10 days, I found out, I looked this up just to be sure, when my husband said that we were going to stay there 10 days.
So then she talks about the 10 days, and we'll talk about that later. So that was interesting, and I know there's a few others. I couldn't find every single video, so I'm just providing some examples. Um, and then also, I had a dream. I recorded it. This is interesting. This is another video by Midnight Hour Oil, and in the comments, somebody, husband got the word, what is that? Herschel in big print. Herschel. So, and that's the name of the guy who discovered the Christmas tree cluster in the Cone Nebula of the Unicorn constellation. So I thought that was really cool. I responded to it with my unicorn findings. Another, okay, here's the dream that I had. Uh, April 27, there was a lady that I know, and she's crying in great despair. She's a very nice Israeli Jewish lady. She's very proud of her Jewish heritage, and I'm at her house. I know it's not the season, but I say that it feels like Christmas. And I go back and forth from her kitchen making some sort of preparations. I watch her and her daughters get into a car and leave. I feel bad for her and I wish I could drive her and stay with her to where she is going. Then I go back into her house and now there's about a dozen teenage boys there. My family member, Christina, and she tends to represent the Lord because of her name there, is there with me. I feel like I am in charge of these kids and that I'm getting everything ready to go to some small gathering. I am going through my travel bag and I see lots of summer dresses. Okay, so it doesn't really coincide with Christmas there. A round piece of bread like the size of my palm, some soccer cleats, and a soccer polo shirt. I ask Christina what time it is, and she says 4. Okay, I think that could be the month that we're in, Tammuz. I ask if we can leave by 7. So that's interesting. Another reference to Christmas in a dream that I had. So that is the whole Gemini constellation. And then I saw a video by this little girl. I posted her in my last video too. And this is new. She just posted this yesterday.
And Yah spoke to me and said, "The time has come, be prepared to come." So Mom had asked me, I guess I'd better, I think the word would be elaborate, explain a little further, clarify, that would be the word. Okay, so yeah. Just to clarify, when he said be prepared to come, it like immediately made me think of in Revelation when he calls the two witnesses and he says, "Come up here." Come out of Babylon and other parts of Revelation says. And so he says, the time has come, be prepared to come. So we're supposed to prepare our hearts for his coming, and so that we can come to him. So then I had a vision of a fish constellation, and it reminded me of what they would say, the Jesus fish. That, like they, I guess, used back then to mark other Christians. So, yeah, I saw a fish constellation on the stars. I was out in space, and
So that was cool. That she saw the fish, and because I've also been getting a lot of fish. The number 153 has been coming up. On the 3rd of July, I've been going for over a month now to volunteer at this new charity, and the other day I was made to stop on my walk over, and this bus passed by and it was 153 and I hadn't noticed that before, even though I've been going for over a month. So I was like, oh cool, 153. Then on the 8th, I woke up at 1:53 in the morning. There was a very loud truck outside, and then my dog was kind of making all kinds of noise after that. So I woke up to check on the time, and it's not like I have my phone next to me where I would check it multiple times. I actually have to get up and walk over to the other room because I don't like having any kind of radiation near my head. The room is completely dark, and I don't allow Wi-Fi in my house. So that was interesting. When I got up and I checked it, it was that time. The next day, I woke up at 3:07. Don't know what woke me up that day, but I looked it up in Strong's, and it means there's only one occurrence of that G307, and it's to cause to go up or ascend, to draw up. And I like to take a look at, the which story it comes into. And this is Matthew 13. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind. So, a net in the sea, again, the fishing, which when it was full, they drew to shore. So that's like the bringing up. And sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. Because I always pray for confirmations. So I loved to see that. And I put this in my, one of my previous videos about if you start at Pisces, the constellation that the little girl mentioned in her video. So if you start at, the start of Pisces is kind of when the new spring equinox is started. You get to, it actually doesn't include the start date, so you would have to subtract one day here. But it would get to August 20th. And, even if you go by the Jewish calendar, it starts a week later. It would still be, end of August 28 or so. So that was interesting because it's all leading, to by this time frame. By the time of Argo the ship. So that was really cool to get all of those one fish references. Another one is about Argo. Diana Oliveri just put out a new video, and she has a really good discussion of the constellations within Cancer. So I would recommend everybody go see that if you're interested. And I'll play a little bit of clip from hers.
And the third minor constellation that's in this constellation of Cancer is called Argo. Guys, it means the pilgrim's arrival at home. It's the ships, meaning the pilgrims are safe at home. In the Egyptian planisphere, there are two ships, like two folds, and they occupy half of the south meridians. The brightest star is Canopus, and it means the possession of him who cometh. The possession of him who cometh. Guys, I had a dream where there were two ships, and I was being asked to help them get them filled with grains. Two ships, and I was asked to help get them filled with grains.
Okay, so that's really cool. I know she had mentioned that. I've had a dream about sailing on a ship. I think lots of people have had that dream. So that's really exciting. I mean, it's all pointing to this time frame here between Gemini and Cancer. I don't know how it's going to play out. With Rhonda's chariot was the dog on the horse. Hopefully, that's the chariot I want to ride. But even if it has to be the ship, I don't care. I'm just excited that it's, within a month. So that's cool. What else do I have here? Then in Wanda's dream about the Christmas, she has to stay 10 days. She also had another dream. I couldn't find it. about being told to type the word ascension into a browser. And again, ascension happens on the 40th day. So I went back to my calendar because also somebody else posted in another video that I did, they had a dream where they were drinking wine of the finest quality, and my video was about the, maybe they're talking about the wine harvest for the second Feast of Weeks, and then his cousin said that the wine was a 40 ouncer, and that I have never tasted it before. So I was like, cool, maybe it does have something to do with the 40. And also I mentioned here that, God's Handmaiden has a video. I'll put a link to that. She literally got the date 7/14/17. And that, I'll show you, is exactly day 40 on my grape harvest Omer count. Ascension is, day 40. So I thought that was really cool. And then if you subtract from Pentecost 10 days, like in Rhonda's dream, that would correspond to day 40. So that's really cool. Here's the calendar that I showed before, and here's day 40. So we're right here. I'm still keeping my eyes, very open throughout this period, this whole period. And then another thing that I thought was interesting was, hey, look, this is Tammuz. This is the 4th month. And 444, a lot of people have been seeing like destruction at 444. If the rapture starts here, I remember somebody saying there's like a 5-day count to that. So that would be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Is that the destruction? I don't know. But that was interesting too, that comes 5 days after. Another thing, let's see, talk about that. Oh yeah, the 7-Eleven, I saw something by Soldiers of Christ, really cool preaching on that channel. And they were talking about the Psalm 117, and that's like the middle of the Bible, and it has the 2 verses. So I was like, oh, that's like 7-Eleven backwards. And I think Rhodey had that too in his video. So if you count 117 days from the beginning of the year, you do use the Enoch, it's July 16. Again, that falls within that time frame. If you use a Jewish calendar to start, it's July 23rd. So again, it's still all within this time frame. And then if the fishing happens 153 from the sign of Pisces, and you subtract 117 days, you get 36 days. On April, I also had a dream where I said you have 1 hour to do your homework. So I'm like, that's about a month right there. Maybe that's what they're talking about. I don't know, that was just another thought there, but this could be, for the initial rapture, and then if we have work to do to bring everyone else back, we just have a little while for those that are doing the work. So I just hope this encourages some people out there. I really do think we're in the season. I'll go back to Solarium. We're just hitting the dog, the second dog, now we're here. We're about to get aligned with that Procyon that's on top of the unicorn, and then comes Cancer and the ship. This is the ship right here in the sign of Cancer. It's kind of hard to see it there. So hang in there. Let's all get really excited.